What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another DC Heroes and Villains video. Okay guys, real quick, the featured unit is gone. So this video is going to be about two different things. Number one, we're going to talk about whether Aquaman's any good and if you should summon for him. And number two, we're going to talk about Superman for a couple minutes because I've done a lot of testing with him. And I want to give you my honest opinion on the Man of Steel, okay? So first off, let's go into the featured banner. Now, if you look here, Aquaman is going to be the new featured banner. So if you jump into the recruitment section, here he is right there. And if you look here, he is now the unit that is going to be given to you 1 out of 4 chance if you pull a legendary. Remember, it's still a 1% chance, but in that 1% chance, if you happen to pull one of the 5 stars here, it will be a 1 in 4 chance that Aquaman, 25%, will pop up for you. So, is he any good? Is he worth it? Alright, so let me show you guys my Aquaman real quick. And let me explain to you guys why you should or should not pull. Okay, so Aquaman, first off, you can see here is tier 5. His passive, at the beginning of each round, Aquaman has a 20% chance to apply anti-buff debuffs to an opponent, just so you guys are aware. This is very much my opinion, a boss killing mechanic. Okay, so when there's a single target, it makes a lot more sense, or in PvP, it makes a lot more sense. During regular stages or challenges, it just doesn't really. First off, it's a low chance, and number two, it only applies to units that buff. There are a lot of units that don't buff, right? In terms of story mode. So PvP wise and boss wise, it's actually a pretty damn good mechanic. The problem with this is if you face folks like Cersei, and there is a Cersei boss in this game, he'll end up doing this by accident. Cersei will flip it, and now we got a problem. We got immunity instead, right? So there's a couple pros and cons. His passive is not the greatest, and as you get dupes of him, it just increases the chance to inflict it. I believe that goes up to 40% chance. Again, still not the greatest passive for a legendary character like this. Moving over to his power move. Now, I will say this. It is a hard-hitting power move. Attacks all enemies, 3 hits. The damage multiplier can go fairly high. We're looking at right here at 79%. And then total 90% times 3. So you're looking at quite a bit of damage with an AoE. So when it hits all enemies, that's the key word. So he does do a lot of damage. Again, great for challenges, great for PvP. He also removes buffs from all enemies, which is great, and he suppresses all barriers, okay? So, the suppressing all barriers is fantastic, especially when you get to Themisia, where you can fight yourself a lot of harpies and stuff that do have barriers. Instantly removing those is fantastic because it saves you a whole lot of problems. I have not tested, though, if that applies to people's shields. You know, the big giant barricades they have in front? I'm not sure if that actually instantly removes those. I haven't tested it. I do have to do more testing on that. And the fact that he removes all buffs from enemies is fantastic. Now that, on the other hand, is really good against bosses like Cersei or Superman, etc., right? So, in that regard, Aquaman is actually really good. So, where does Aquaman really shine? PvP, he's an absolute powerhouse in PvP. Like, he should be one of your main focused units in PvP. PvE, he's situational. Because he does do a lot of AoE though, and he does remove all buffs from enemies, and he does take away barriers, he could be very useful, specifically though for challenges. Not necessarily for regular challenge story mode, although he is still really good there. So, with that being said, his passives and his power move, his passive is a little bit of a letdown, his power move, on the other hand, is absolutely OP. So what does that mean for you for Aquaman? Do you pull for him or not? So a couple things you're going to want to note about this. Okay, first off, light. Where is yellow? Okay, so there are only a few good actual units, few good units here that he can pair with. Okay, and there's not many. The JLA, like the actual Justice League America faction, he's okay with them there. But the problem with yellow is the fact that they don't really possess any people who make blocks for them. So no tiles are created by anybody here that's worthwhile using. So, Cheetah, Aquaman, Firefly, Copperhead. Those are the main 4 light units. Firefly is great because he causes vulnerability. So having Firefly and Aquaman together on the same team actually is a really good pairing because of two reasons. One, you get the vulnerability debuff from Firefly whenever he gets hit. Number two, they both have massive AoE damage, so you can clear challenge mode with a lot of enemies very quickly. And then also having Aquaman there to take away any type of buffs and barriers to help you do more damage is always worthwhile. So really good pair, these two right here specifically, if you want to do a dual light pair. He and Cheetah work really well too. The only problem with Cheetah and him is the fact that Cheetah is a single target damage dealer, and she only applies the Grant Haste to herself, not to Aquaman. So that's a little bit of a problem, but she does do power gauge up. Whenever she dodges, she does yellow color up. So she's going to help you do a lot of damage while Aquaman builds up. So pretty decent, but the better of the two is definitely Firefly and Aquaman. So that comes down to, is he worth pulling for? I'll be honest with you, I'll say yes, for two reasons, okay? Number one, challenge mode, you're going to need cleave teams. He's going to be the one, he's probably going to be your best cleave unit, which means cleave is area of effect, so or area of attack. Essentially AoE damage, right? He's probably one of the best ones in the game. So having him for challenge mode and PvP alone, because of his suppressing barriers and the fact that he can remove all buffs, is absolutely worth it. So Aquaman gets the stamp of approval for the summon. Definitely go for him. Now, I didn't want to do this in a different video. I want to talk about this right now. Man of Steel, Superman. Okay, I have a problem with Superman. And I'm going to explain to you guys what my problem with Superman is, and I hope you guys can understand my issues here, okay? We placed him top tier in the tier list. I was part of that tier list. Clearly, I made it. So I'm starting to regret putting him in S tier. And here's why. I'm going to explain to you guys why. I think he's the wrong faction. He should have never been a Sentinel. Now, yes, he can take hits. Yes, he taunts. But the problem with Superman is his passive, where he starts with immunity for 8 turns only, or in this case, I believe it's, what, 5 turns? 8? Oh, no, it is 8 turns. Okay. Is not that good for a tank. Like Vandal Savage in the blue spectrum is a better tank in the blue elements, right? He has the heal plus, he's immune to vulnerability, he's immune to defense as you get his passive increased, right? But Superman all he does after this is just get his passive increased for his immunity. But if you fight Alex, you're done. It's game over. The beauty is he is immune to crits, which is really good. But again, most people don't rely on crits to do damage. Most people rely on chipping away at you, right? So that is problem number one. Problem number two, his actual power move is just a single target, really hard hitting single target move with a taunt for 3 turns, but he's freaking Superman. I think he's a little let down as a unit. He should have been built as a DPS rather than a tank. If it was Superman, for example, and he is a tank now, they should have given him blue tiles up, so blue power up. They should have given power gauge up, attack up, defense up. Anything that reflects the Man of Steel for the legend and icon that he is in the DC universe. It's Superman, for God's sakes. He should not just have immunity and immune to crits. I mean, let's be real, right? Copperhead has immune to crits. Like, it's not that special. So they really need to rethink Superman a little bit. I may actually drop him a level to S instead of SS, which is what he's currently at now. So he's still a really good unit, guys. He's just not as OP as I originally had envisioned him to be. After especially playing around with every tank in the game now, he just doesn't bring enough to the fold. Even Beast Boy has a bigger health pool, has a AoE, and at least a taunt that he does in the beginning. I'd rather take that over the immunity any day, personally. That's just me, though. Alright guys, this is Payne. Hope this video helped out. Aquaman, absolutely pull for, really good unit. Get him up there. Unfortunately, the problem with light or yellow units is, again, they don't have anybody to kind of drive their board, so you're going to have to do a little bit of work on your end, but he's still really good for PvP and definitely challenge mode for cleave teams. And then PvE, we're going to have to test him out a little more, but I don't see him being bad at all. He just won't be as dominant in PvE story mode. Alright guys, this is Payne. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.